Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gio and I'm very excited about today's video. If you clicked on this video, then you're probably wondering how on earth it was possible for me to make $20,000 on Depop. But I'm here to tell you that it is not clickbait and it actually happened for me. Granted, I have not been that active in the last 2 years just because I have been in grad school. I moved to New York. So I thought it would be fun to share with everyone how I run my Depop shop. Hopefully by the end of this video, this inspired you to create your own Depop shop and start making real money on Depop. Maybe you can double what I've made. And I get tons of questions from like my friends and my family asking me how I do it and what are some tips and tricks. So I thought I would just make this video and send it to them whenever they had a question. No, this is not sponsored by Depop, but if Depop, you guys want to sponsor me. I started my Depop shop back in 2020 when the pandemic hit, and just like everybody else, I was at home, bored, didn't know what to do, wasn't making like money, always been a hustler, you know. Just so happened to love fashion, I just so happened to love clothes, and I just so happened to love like being creative. And I think the pandemic really like ignited that creativity. I think another part of why I started Depop was because I'm obsessed with like thrifting and shopping and spending my money on clothes, which is probably a really bad habit, but I think being on Depop has really justified my spending purchases whenever I want to buy a new, let's say like jacket or shirt or whatever it is. I wanted to give my clothes a better home since I wasn't using them all the time and I've collected so many over the years. I didn't really know about Depop until my friend from college, Candy Yu. I'm gonna link her Depop shop down below and her Instagram. She's pretty cool. She actually taught me a lot of the tricks and tips, the whole kind of process of like what she does to run her Depop account. She's like the one who really pushed me to do Depop. So shout out to you, Candy, if you're watching this. Thank you so much. The first time I started posting on Depop, it wasn't what it was today. I actually like started taking like really amateur pictures of like my clothes. I'll insert like examples here below, but it wasn't yielding the results that I wanted. Wasn't getting enough sales and it wasn't really like working for me. Pictures were bad quality. The sizing and like the descriptions were pretty bad. I actually took the time and like built an overall aesthetic for my Depop shop account. If you notice, my Depop shop is very like colorful and bright and has like different colors. That's really done on purpose because really is to just attract people to come on my page, see what I have and see if they're like interested in anything that I'm selling on my Depop. I just love the idea of having like a rotating closet just because I'm also like a very detached person to like my personal items and stuff. Love to just like, you know, wear an outfit for an occasion. And one thing I love about Depop is the ability to sell like things that you're not using anymore. Depop is a really good resource to find things that are unique. That is like basically why I kind of started my Depop shop. Yeah, let's go straight into the actual process of how I run my Depop shop. First thing I like to do is go through my closet. I check to see if I haven't worn anything in the past like month, see if there's an item that I don't use, I don't wear, I haven't worn in a while, and most of the time my gut tells me to just post it on Depop. Prize at like the things that people want to buy from your Depop shop. So I just say to everyone, even if you're wanting to donate something, maybe post it on Depop first before actually going and donating it. It's a really good way to recycle your clothing that you're not using anymore. Basically, take pictures of all of my Depop garments. When you take your pictures of your garments, I like to lay it down on the floor, and I like to take like a front picture of it, a back picture of it, and then detailed shots of like the brand and the size, so that when I'm actually posting it, it's a lot easier for me to just refer back to the detailed shot and fill in the description and all the elements that Depop is asking you of. I know for Candy or just like some of my other friends who use Depop who are girls, I actually like to wear the garment and like take a picture of it. A lot of girls like to know how like a garment fits, but in my case, I just have like a bunch of men clothes. So if a customer asks me for like the measurements on things, I do have like a tape measure, and I'll just like measure like what they're asking for. So I'll measure like the length of the garment, the width, and usually that's like how I like to set up my shop. I will include some pictures of me like wearing the garment sometimes if I have a picture in it, so they can see how I styled it. That's usually like the base measure of like how people can tell like if it fits them or not. I take those detailed shots. I actually mainly take them on my iPad. I do all of my workflow like on my iPad because I do use this app called Procreate. I use Procreate to actually like edit the cover photos of my Depop. I just take the pictures of the garment on my iPad. Love to use the Coolers app to generate different types of colors. I import that palette into Procreate. In Procreate, I open a square template, then I import the first photo, the cover photo of what I want my garment to be. I open up another layer into Procreate, and then I use the monoline tool under the calligraphy section to outline the silhouette of the garment. And once the outline is created and it's all matched up, I drag one of the colors from the Coolers generator that I imported into the Procreate, and I drag it, and you'll see it'll fill up the background, and voila, then you have the color photo for your garment. That's basically how I get the cover photo for my Depop shop. I have Coolers to generate a palette, and I import that palette into Procreate, and then I use Procreate to edit and actually create the background and the cool color that you see on my Depop shop. I like to have a variety of colors, so that's why I really love using the Coolers app. I'll leave the link in the description below. If you use my link, then you can get 1 year free trial using Coolers, and it's a really cool app. I love using it for different projects at school or different projects that I'm working on. And once I have the cover photo, then it's time for me to actually make the listing for my garment on Depop. The first thing I like to do is use the cover photo as the cover and add the different pictures that you took of that garment as like multiple pictures, and you add the detail shots. And then I like to fill out the elements on Depop. It asks for like the branding, the size, the price, and all of those things, and a very like descriptive language to describe what the item that you're selling. And that's usually how I attract a lot of my customers. Those coupled with the descriptions are great indicators for your customer to know what the item that they're going to purchase is. That is how I make my listing for Depop. I list my item on Depop, then I like to wait a couple days or a couple hours, and I usually like to post at night before I go to bed, so that in the morning I'll see if I have a Depop order to fulfill. And that just makes my life easier, because in the morning I like to print out my labels at work and then make sure that the item that I sold is directly shipped to them the next day. And once I go through this process of actually getting an order, then I start to fill it. And actually the filling process is very simple. I basically get all of my shipping items, like all the packing slips and the tape, from the dollar store. I use Dollar Tree. I'm sure there's a Dollar Tree around you, but there's always been a Dollar Tree around me. And the quality of like the shipping packages are actually really nice for the price. And that's how I save a lot of money and make more profit. I like to use the dollar store for everything, so don't sleep on Dollar Tree. I would say go to Dollar Tree to get all your shipping needs. I like to leave a little note as a thank you, and making sure that that my customers are satisfied with their order. I think leaving a little note is very personable and attracts them to come back to your site. Or basically how I run my Depop shop account, from editing to taking the photos to filling the orders. But my friends actually have come up with a few questions, and I'm gonna answer them right now. So shout out to my friends Areeya and Tara for giving me questions to answer at the end of this video. The first question that they asked me is, how much does Depop take from selling on Depop? And the answer is 10%. They take a 10% fee from every time you make a sale. But I like to offset that percentage by listing my items a little higher, but like also still reasonable and affordable to where it still attracts the customer and I can still make a profit. Next question is, how should I know what to price my items? And this is a really great question, because I feel like I get that question a lot. I like to do something called market research. That's like the corporate term for it, but go on Depop or another selling app item for clothes like Poshmark, and I basically search through Depop and Poshmark for the same item that I'm trying to sell and see what other sellers are selling that item for. and then I'll kind of use that as like a baseline or a range to what I actually would price my item at based on the condition of the item. So if I found the same exact item on Depop that I'm trying to sell, but theirs is a little more used and I've only used mine a couple times, then I use their price as a baseline, but then I add more to it just so to offset like the condition and to make a little bit more money. The general way of how I like to set my price, but I've also run into situations where there aren't any similar items on Depop or Poshmark or on Google. I like to think about how much I got the item for. So let's say I got a jacket for $50, but I've only used it like 3 or 4 times. Then every time that I've used it, I subtract like $1 or $2. So for that jacket, I would probably set the price to $45. And usually that's how I like to do it, just because all of the items in my closet are in fairly good condition. I take really good care of my things. So I never like to cheat myself out and make sure that, you know, the customer is satisfied. And I have never gotten any complaints about you know, the condition of the item. If I have a little tear or a stain or whatever, something like that, then I like to message the customer who is interested in buying the item and telling them, hey, you know, just to let you know that there is a little stain on it. I don't know how to get it off, but I will give you a discount for that little stain. But yeah, anything to please the customer and make sure the customer is always right. That's how I love to run my Depop business. I'm sure that's just like a baseline rule for people who operate a business, is just making sure that the customer is always satisfied and making sure that, you know, that you're communicating with them really well. Also run into a similar situation where I've gotten a gift that I don't use anymore, or I got something for free that I don't use anymore. I kind of just like make up my own price based on like what I think the value of the item or garment is worth. If I don't remember how much I got an item for, then I basically just think about like what I value that item or garment, and I kind of just use that as like the price. My prices are very reasonable and very affordable. Like, I'm someone who grew up not having much, so I know that, like, you know, shopping could be difficult and everything like that. So I like to make sure that my prices are reasonable and my prices are affordable for people, you know, who grew up like me, not having a lot of money, but wanting to still look really cool and fresh and having like nice cool things. So yeah, I like to make sure that like I'm setting my prices at a reasonable price where I'm making a profit, but also making sure that it's affordable for people who, you know, can't really afford a dope like shirt or a dope jacket. And I think by doing that, you reach an actually wider audience. That's something that I've learned from running my business. The next question is, how do I keep everything organized? And I love this question so much because I think I get this question a lot, but I think people are gonna be really mad at my answer. I am a very organized person in general. Like, my room is always clean, my closet is always clean, my laundry is always folded, my bathroom is always clean, like everything is always clean. I'm like such a type A OCD person. So staying organized has never been like an issue for me, or staying clean has never been an issue for me. I just get that from my mom. My mom is a very like super neat freak. Everything has to be spotless, everything has its own place, and that's how I think I was raised and conditioned to just like make sure that everything is organized and clean at all times. Yeah, I just love having like a clear space. A clear space really affects like my mental, like space is clear, my mind is clear, and I perform better, I do better, I act better. So I love staying organized. Being organized has never been an issue for me. I feel like organization has been key for me. So hopefully that answered your question. The last question is, what are some general tips for selling on Depop? And I have a lot of them, so here they go. The first one is, once I sell an item, I love to repost my other items that I haven't sold. If not daily, weekly, but the more active that you are on Depop, the more customers will come to your page and the more customers you'll attract. So stay active on Depop, repost your items on a daily basis. If you don't have time like that, then probably do it on a weekly basis. Set up a time every week that you're just reposting your Depop items with your customers, you know, like message them, communicate with them, and answer all of their questions in a timely manner, making sure that you really secure that sale. That I like to do for my Depop shop count is I like to offer bundle discounts. So if someone is buying multiple things on my Depop shop, then I tell them to let me know and I'll make a separate listing for them so that they can actually buy. and I'll give them a little discount of all the items that they're buying since they bought a bundle. I like to also give my friends and my family discounts. Next general tip is tell your friends and your family about it. I post on Instagram every time I do a Depop drop, and sometimes my friends or my family or a friend of a friend will message me like, hey, I really want this item, do you still have it for sale? And when I get messages like that, I basically tell them, yeah, I do have it. I will give you a discount because you're my homie, or because you're my cousin, or you're my friend, or something like that. I always give the people I know a discount on any of the items that I'm selling. Give your friends and your family discounts. Give your customers discounts if they're buying bundles. Last tip is have fun with it. I have so much fun running my Depop shop. I have learned so much about running a small business. I learned like how to edit photos, how to market them, how to use social media to engage customers to my Depop shop. I know how to do market research from it. I know how to product source, and all these terms I'm using are very corporate, but basically learned a lot from how to run a small business on Depop. I think it's really helped me in my career. I just have a lot of fun owning and operating my Depop shop. It's like a fun job and a fun hobby for me. I don't really consider it work. I'm very passionate about fashion and Depop. And if you're looking to sponsor me, you know, my email is down below. So I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and hopefully in no time you guys can start making real money on Depop like I did. It has really helped me in my life. It has enriched my life. It has added to it, and I just am so grateful to have a successful Depop business. I'm gonna leave the links to my Depop down below. If you're interested in anything, please explore my Depop. You'll make money like I did on Depop. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you so much for all the love. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys next time. Alright, my name is Gio, and I'm out of here. Okay, bye!